So I guess I could start this video with how I've been right, how my calls have been accurate, and maybe I'll get to, the points where I was wrong in a little bit. But yeah, for right now, Bitcoin has hit my target, the target that I established once we reclaimed this white line right here, the value area low. Once we significantly reclaimed it, which I would say was probably around here, I thought that reclaim in this area would likely lead to a range rotation or a continued range rotation up towards the high, and we have gotten to that point. And I also said that this point will likely be a decision point, and so far we are ranging. We are clearly trying to make up our minds here in terms of, are we going to continue higher, or are we going to fall back within this range and continue moving sideways? And I will start off by saying that, we're ranging, there are conflicting signs, and we are at a very important point. So there is definitely a whole bunch of indecision, and I do not have an answer for that indecision. I don't know which way Bitcoin is going to go. We could certainly continue higher from here, especially if we start breaking key levels like this point of control, or maybe this is just potentially a high volume node now. We'll have to check and see if the point of control has changed, which I have actually already done, so I know the answer to that. But if we continue breaking, this little mini range, if we continue breaking higher out of this larger range, I think the chances of us continuing to the upside to maybe continue rotating within this larger range becomes a lot more likely. But we are running into resistance, and there's a reason why I call this a decision point, because I think whichever way Bitcoin decides in the short term at this point can definitely play into the higher time frame stuff, what can happen over the more long term. So that's pretty much my view on Bitcoin. The bigger picture, as I said, things are, conflicting. I think the weekly time frame looks pretty bullish at the moment. Momentum turning aggressively to the upside still. The VWAP is seemingly pointing more to the upside than it was the last time I looked at it. Money flow is continuing to turn to the upside. On the daily, money flow seems to be looking relatively healthy. Momentum is up there, although it does seem like we are trying to top out around the 60 line, which does sometimes lead to like full-on reversals. Like, let's see what happened all these other times we topped out around the 60 line. It appears like they've all been higher time frame reversals, so potentially that continues. But you could also make the case that based on the daily money flow, the fact that it has come down following all-time high, it's gotten into the red, potentially reset itself. It put in some local higher highs compared to the last time it got into the green following all-time high. And now it seems to be moving back to the upside after this very slight trigger wave. And maybe if money flow goes on to continue putting in higher highs here, we could see momentum just kind of continue climbing. Even if, maybe we get a slight retrace here, we could see momentum turn back to the upside. It doesn't have to come all the way back down to the 0 line like it has at previous times. So, I don't think just because the daily time frame seems to be topping out, we do have a red dot here and we are at resistance. I don't think that, definitely means that we have to continue the pattern that we've been seeing. I think the overall curve in the money flow could, give us a different situation here. But we did also see some local divergences as well as regional divergences from this high as we took out that high. So there were definitely confirmations. If you take this momentum wave, which correlates to that high, and you look over here to this momentum wave, to this high, price put in a higher high, momentum put in a lower high. And I believe money flow also diverged, and it did. It diverged regionally, just like we saw with momentum, and I'll make those a different color. We'll make those lines red, and we also saw local divergences, which I will make yellow, with momentum and I think technically money flow as well, although it was very slight. We did put in a lower high here, and as we go to the lower time frames, that becomes more apparent, especially with money flow. Money flow diverged a lot more clearly on the 3 hour and down. If you go to the 2 hour, yeah, very clear lower highs with momentum regionally and locally. And I did actually take a short. I shorted this original high as we reclaimed this range. I took a short, and I did take a loss on that one. So, that was an example of, hey, all the signs were there, but we didn't necessarily get the perfect SFP play. We more so have, continued higher, but barely. We kind of been SFPing higher, and just ranging above this point. And I did take a few more losses in this range. This range has been pretty poor trading for me, I'm not going to lie. I haven't been at the charts that much, but when I am, I'm kind of trying to look for trades. And sometimes when you're trying to force it, that can get you burned. And that has happened to me. I took a couple losses. So at this point, I am being a lot more cautious with my trades. I'm looking for either A, the best possible trades within this range. I'm looking at the context that's, in local price action in front of me. We have a local high and a local low, place where I can buy low or sell high, depending on if there's confirmations at any of these points. And if we start dumping to the downside, I don't think I'm going to just enter a short with my stop loss above here. I think I would rather look for a better setup. I would rather wait for the higher time frame confirmations, us losing this white line again, and then look for some kind of local trade. Maybe we get a retrace. Maybe I just trade like some sort of local range wherever we're at. I'm really looking to either refine my trades and get the best possible risk reward and confirmations, or I will just sit out. But the idea is that I won't have to sit out. I am, really waiting for the best trades and hoping that they come. And if they don't, then I will just follow price down and look for the best trades wherever we're at. If we start ranging somewhere, I'm not rushing into any decisions here because things are very unclear. So I'm going to be smart about how I trade it. And one more thing before I go, I want to make this a short video. I don't really have that much to talk about today, but pulling the fixed range volume pull of this more macro range yet again. I want to see exactly when that point of control changed. It would probably be before we got back up to that new point of control, right? Yeah, so the point of control has shifted to the downside since we've gotten up in this area. We've had enough volume to turn one of these high volume nodes in here into the point of control. So the volume in this area has surpassed the volume up here. And I am still looking at this red line as a significant level. However, it's not the point of control anymore. It is a high volume node. And that means that we are above the value area low of this range, which is another significant step in the value area ladder, you can call it. So, the basic context that I've been looking at with this range is, okay, we got to one significant range point, we SFP the actual low. Following that, we have eventually reclaimed the value area low. This was kind of a failed reclaim. This time we've actually stayed above value area low for a while, whereas here we kind of immediately fell back down. So we reclaimed one significant level. Now we have reclaimed the point of control technically. Even if it moved here as we got up to this area, we are now above the point of control. And these high volume nodes are still going to be significant. I'm definitely still watching it, especially because it's, basically confluent with this other decision point at the high of the range. So, this is based on more price action than the actual volume levels, but I'm including that in my ladder. So I am still watching this because basically to break this range high, we have to get significantly above this point, which would also mean getting above this high volume node. And sticking with the range rotation rules, I think if we do that, that opens the door to a rotation towards the value area high, which is still the same at this point. Now there is this local high here. We could potentially just SFP into that point and then see a retrace. Maybe we even front run the value area high because of this high over here. But yeah, now that the point of control has changed, I don't really think anything with my bullish confirmations have changed. We still have to get above this high volume node. But if we start retracing here, there is a chance that we just hold support on this point of control before trying to move higher again. So yeah, this area right around 63,750 is going to be a significant level for me now as well. All right, I'm done yapping. Thank you all for watching the video. If you enjoyed, consider leaving a like, subscribing, leaving a comment. That helps to support my channel, and I appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next video.